Welcome to A Perfect Place to Start. I'm Catherine, and on this channel we do home decor and DIY projects. For today's video, we're going to be creating some Shabby Farmhouse tiered tray decor using some items that I got on sale and thrifted items. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around to the end of the video, like and subscribe. So this first thing that we're going to do was something that was brought to me by one of my subscribers. I had done a video where I had printed off on copy paper to do some Canva inspired DIYs, and I'll link that video here in the cards and in my description box. But one of my subscribers suggested that I print on tissue paper, which I had never heard of. I had never done it before, so I thought I would check it out and see how it turned out. So today's video is almost all projects that are done with some tissue paper printing. So I'm just showing you here, all I did was take some tissue paper, and this just came from the Dollar Tree, and I glued the corners. I watched several videos on how to do it, and this is the one that I thought would probably be working the best. I only put the glue stick on the corners, and then I attached it to the regular copy paper and put it in my inkjet printer, and then I printed it through normal. I did get my designs from Canva, but if you don't have Canva, you can definitely go to graphicfairy.com. I'll link that link down in my description box, and they have tons of printables that you can do. So to start our first project, I got this little wooden piece from, I believe it was from the DI up in Utah when I was visiting. It is very much like a Goodwill if you've never been there. I didn't realize that this was paper on there until I started painting it, but all I did was cover it with some of my white folk art chalk paint, and then I'm using my antique Waverly wax, and I'm just using a chippy brush, and I'm painting today. I didn't want to do any like sanding because I didn't want any of the other project down below to come through, and so I'm just using my chippy brush today. So I'm taking one of those pieces that I printed in my printer on the tissue paper, and I'm just using some Mod Podge, and I'm going on the back. So what I found out as I was doing these projects, definitely you need to make sure the outside of the tissue paper piece has the Mod Podge on it as you adhere it, and then you can go over the project with some Mod Podge on the top. If you don't seal it well on the underneath side, then it has a tendency to roll up. So I went ahead into the outsides, and you can reposition it if you need to, but you have to be very careful. And then you're just going to take some Mod Podge and lightly go over the image on the top, and then here is this project styled with my tier tray.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors.
So today's video is part of the Open Challenge playlist for the Tiered Tray Thursday, and I am co-hosting this every third Thursday of the month with my lovely friend Leanie from Crafty Leanie. If you've never checked out her channel, I will have that link down in my description box along with the playlist, so you can check out all the amazing creators today and get lots of tiered tray inspiration. So for this next project, I printed out a lavender bush that was in a watering can, and I'm just taking this sign that I got at Hobby Lobby when they had their like 75% off sale at Christmas time. I always pick up the really small wood pieces at that time because you get them for super cheap. I believe I paid less than $2 for this, and you can always remake them into other things. So again, using my chippy brush and my antique Waverly wax, and then I'm going to do the same process. So I'm going to just take some of my Mod Podge, go around the edges, and you just have to be really careful. These are so delicate just because you don't want to rip your tissue paper, but once you get it around the edges, then you're going to go ahead and adhere it to wherever you want on your piece. So I only used wood today, but I believe you could probably do the same thing like on a metal piece. A little bit of the tissue paper might show through. So I did think that this was a lot better option as far as printing goes, like if you were going to print some wording. And I have a project later on in this video that has some wording in it, but I definitely think if you don't have a Cricut or some kind of cutting machine, that this is a really affordable option to create some custom designed pieces that you can also get the same look without a lot of the bulky paper. So once I get that glued onto my little house, I took some ribbon. This ribbon came from the Dollar Tree along with some twine. I'm just going to go ahead, tie that in the middle to make my shabby bow, and then I'm going to glue that up at the top of the little house above our lavender watering can. And then I'm going to take a button and I'm going to glue that into the middle of our ribbon. I couldn't decide on the button color. I had some tan buttons and some lavender buttons, and so I actually went with a tan button in the middle and then a lavender button on top. And then here I am going to show it to you styled in some decor.
You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you.
For this project, I wanted to have a lavender stem on the wood block, and so I went ahead and took another one of these Hobby Lobby wood blocks. Again, I think I paid less than $2 for this when it was on sale. And then I'm using my chippy brush again. I did go ahead and do 3 coats of the white paint and then just really lightly brushing with my antique Waverly wax. So originally I wanted this piece to lay sideways, but then as I was gluing my lavender stem on, I decided I kind of liked it better standing up because I wanted to add a ribbon to this one, kind of like it was being held together with the ribbon, and so it just looked better standing up. I'm going to go ahead and I just tied this into a really easy shoelace bow, tying it in the middle with some twine, and then I'm going to glue that into like kind of the bottom, not all the way at the bottom. I wanted some of the stem to be showing. I'm going to take another button, glue it into the middle, and then here it is styled in some decor.
Please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. You set my world on fire.
So for this piece, we're going to make a welcome sign, and this was actually the first piece I made with the tissue paper. I'm going to go ahead and cover this, again, Hobby Lobby sign with some paint and some of my antique Waverly wax, and then I'm doing that same technique that I did on the other ones, but this one I had some issues with. So again, it was the first project out of this grouping that I actually made, but I ended up with some wrinkles here in the middle, and I don't know if it was because it was such a big piece. It was my first time. I'm not really sure, but I really did like how it turned out. I think that the design I picked to put on here was a little bit simplistic, and I think that maybe that is another reason why I didn't totally fall in love with it. But I wanted to show you here, I kept it in the video just because of the wording and how it says welcome. I think this is a really great option if you don't have a cutting machine, because you can get a really nice look with any kind of font that you might like, and it's customizable to your style.
You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added color.
For this project, we're going to make a lavender flower pot, and this is super easy. I already had this flower pot in my stash that was painted white with some, I believe, Waverly white chalk paint. And then I'm using my antique Waverly wax. It's important to go with the same stroke, so if you start going like at a downward angle or an upward angle, you want to keep those same strokes through your whole project. That way you get the same look through the whole thing. I just took some more of that ribbon, tied it in a shoelace bow, added a button, and then my favorite lavender comes from Walmart, and I just added a twig of that into the pot, and here it is styled in some decor.
My world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna.
Here's a look at all the projects together. I had so much fun making these, and I'm so grateful for that subscriber who suggested that I use the tissue paper because this is definitely a game changer, and I had so much fun, and I think possibilities are endless for tissue paper printing. If you enjoyed the content today, go down and hit that like button. It really helps my video be seen by other people. If you're loving the French country content, I have some other videos up here that you might want to check out. And if you're loving tiered tray decor, don't forget to go down into my description box, hit the playlist, and check out all of the creators today. As always, wherever you are in your journey is a perfect place to start, and I will see you in my next video.